Aloha, it's Kahala. It's November 11th, and we're here for a farm update. I don't know if you saw Leilani's from the other day. Okay, so I'm gonna go. So that right there, that's the end of the property, or the beginning of the property, yeah. And a lot of this stuff, there were weeds mixed in with the vegetation we wanted to keep. So we cut it all down and we're taking the weeds out, rooting the weeds out. And if you see this right here and the one behind it, those are two avocado trees that popped up. Okay. So I'm going to make the screen just a little bit brighter so that I can see what I'm talking to you about. Okay. This right here, that's the beginning of our coconut. It runs all along the property line. Okay, so you see the driveway in the beginning. This was where you saw the boys sitting in front of the property. They were discouraged. It's coming out really nice. This area right here, this entire area was about a story high pile, and we chopped it down, we walked on it, and we gave it some time. It broke down and we were able to push the pile back. We did use some of it to backfill in areas where there were big holes from root removal. So I'm just gonna take a slow glance because I see when I watch the other videos with the children, they tend to speed that video around for updating and it makes me dizzy. This is Buddy, the Chinese gunpowder tree that we're not sure if we're going to totally take them down. As you can tell, we did trim some of the branches that cause problems. But we're not sure if we're going to totally take it down because it literally took us 6 work days to work our way from the front to this tree. It was so dense over here. And there we have it, the front of the driveway. So keeping things steady. You see, even though it's the detritus is breaking down, our brush wall did remain. And what we do is we repair that from time to time, yeah. These are donations that someone else left behind for our building throughout the different areas. We're going to need several hand washing stations and bathrooms because it is a pretty large property. So we don't want anybody to be running for acres and acres to use a bathroom or wash their hands. You see the beginning of the coconut grove? It's kind of behind the pile of detritus there. Okay. If you notice, we've been slowly working on new stages of development in our greeting area. And adjacent to the right is the roundabout social circle that leads into the camping area. We're not going to go back there today. This is a farm update. I'm going to stay on the path that you're familiar with in the videos. And that is so that you can get the moment by moment or the part by part update. If you recall, all of this area was so dense with trees in the beginning, I had to excuse myself between the trees like a crowd at a party. We've cleaned this up and now the pigs do not go in there anymore. Okay, and there's our papaya. That was a volunteer. We did have some trees to plant, and pardon me, the dirt is really dry and I'm not wearing the proper shoes. There's our kukui tree, and let me zero into that. The pile behind it used to be a big pile. We were working it all down, and then we decided to cut down that tree and maintain just the bush that comes from it. We're not going to let that grow as big as the trees were. If you recall, those were the trees that hung over sideways and didn't look very well. We recently planted our Kahala there, and our tea leaf to separate the plant areas. And that tea leaf is there more or less to hold the soil. Now the Kahala looks like it's taken pretty well, but that one leaf looks heavy or something. We'll come back to that later. Some of this aloe is new, and of course the part that's flourishing has been there. The darker ones, they were previously flooded. They were on their way out, and I decided to give them a second chance. So it looks like they're coming back just fine. They were doing much worse than that. We have some new Papaya Volunteers, and across the way a few more. We decided to keep those up. You can see our Suriname cherry is sitting on top of a cluster of tree trunks that we hadn't yet removed. And it's still waiting to go somewhere. I'm reluctant to put it into the ground because it can be invasive. And I want to make sure wherever we choose for its permanent home, it's okay there and not in the way of anything else. That right there, that's our Cuban red banana. Those are very hard to find, and I wholeheartedly thank Alex Pinsky of Maui Coconut Care and Companion Plants Hawai'i for his generous donation. He gave us quite a few plants that are here, including these vetiver, I believe. This right here, you might have seen a video, and pardon, we do have to weed out some areas, but it's the first time I've been here in a week. These are the Poha Berries that I told you about, and we did a video. My youngest did a video on how to open them. So this one looks ready down here. I'm going to go ahead and pull that one. And let's see if I can do this with one hand. Maybe not. So let me just break that open. There we go. Now you can see the berry inside. Okay, and that's kind of like nature's Sour Patch Kids. It's tart, it's tangy, it's known as different names in different areas. And I believe tomatillo is one of the names. If you look down here, there's, oh, look, there's a new Papaya Volunteer. And that is currently at 3 Pineapple Place. And that's the address of those pineapples. Back here, we see our jackfruit has taken well and it's gotten rather tall. And then, let me back out again. These areas back here, those are beds or future beds, but they used to be piles of rubbish or detritus when we first cut this area down. I don't know if you recall that. And if you look back there, that is our apple banana. And it looks like he needs a little bit of pruning there. This fence right here, that's one of our lilikoi strains. It's not the orange one that you see in most of our videos. Next to that, or across the little pathway, we have bele. So these leaves, I should actually walk up and show you. I swear you can wrap them around your head, but you can cook them and eat them too. It's a little dry out here today. I just got out here. Like I said, I hadn't been here for a couple of days. I'm also a full-time student in school, full-time single parent, and full-time worker. So, yeah, these are rather big, as you can tell. Just the front lobe of the leaf from the center goes about 2/3 of the way to my elbow. Let's give you a closer look of the lilikoi that's right behind it. Okay, so as we can tell, it's doing really well. It's reaching out. It's looking to grab onto some more stuff there, and it really wants to grow. It's pretty aggressive. Going back around this one down here, that's another jackfruit. We're standing a little closer to this one. He seems to be a pretty healthy guy. Okay, now behind it, this is another future garden bed. We actually did throw some stuff in here to start planting already, but we have to take out some of the things that don't belong. And they keep coming back because we throw piles of roots there every day or every week on our work days. This right here is our fig tree. And he looks a little thirsty too. Most of the plants look very thirsty. So we know what I got to do after this video. And we come back tomorrow for our work weekend. And this bed right here is our longevity spinach. And it seems to have covered the chives down here. Okay, and around those sides there's garlic beneath the bed. So we're going to have to trim this back. And what we're going to do is we're going to expand it, probably making a second bed. Let's see what else we have going on here. Okay, that's a celery right there. Let's get up to it. So I have news for you. When you cut your celery down to the butt, the part that you don't use, you take that and you sit it on a plate or a saucer of water. Don't let the water get too high around it, and it'll start to grow again. For us, we just wanted to experiment, so we threw it in the ground. There was a bok choy around here, and I don't know if you can see it. It looks like the bok choy didn't make it, and it was probably too dry. Going back up. Behind the same bed, we have our ice cream bean back there. That guy's pretty thirsty too. He's normally a lot more vibrant. So, yes, we will have to water. Looking back, or I'll look back up. Okay, we are in the depression in the land. So, if you can see, there's a step up here. And then when you go, there's another step up there. And then the area that we just came from. Looking into the campsite area, there's not much activity in the front anymore. So to say that everyone's kind of settling into a different space, and that's good. We have to prepare for our next development, so we will be migrating. That right there is the Brazilian white peppercorn. Okay, and as you can see, all the red, that indicates that it's ready for harvest. We did some harvesting 2 weeks ago, and we'll have to come back and do some more. You can zero back out. That was the mile-high pile, and it's deflating. This right here. So this is your baby. This is the noni tree that you've seen since the first week of videos. And it was very small then, and it has survived all the destruction around it. All of the debris getting thrown past it. And it's thriving pretty well. And there's another Papaya Volunteer next to it. Okay. So this right here was known as Vetiver Lane. And that was the corner that was always really high. We're working that down now. But we're working it down from the backside where you see the wastebasket. Let's see what this crazy dog is doing. Hey boy, what you doing? Look at you with mud all over your back. All right, so we're gonna just review. There's the next bed lineup. We're currently taking the roots out of there. There's a lot of tree roots that keep coming up, so we're gonna take that out before we plant that section. And then this bed here, I told you we already started to plant in. So this one, what we did was we did our potato starters in there just to see if they would take over. And I see to some extent some of it has. in front of it, we have one of our ulu trees. This one's thriving pretty well. Hey, boy. What? You want to say hi to the camera? Say hi. Hi, cowboy. You're a good boy. What you got? So he really loves walking with me and showing me the way. So if you look down here, these are the potatoes trying to take over. And so we're going to have to eliminate some of its competition, and this cane grass. That's got to go. This is another vetiver, thanks to Alex Pinsky. And actually, Alex was the one that also gave me those ulu and the jackfruit trees. Like I said, companion plants Hawai'i gave an awful lot, and that was our Maui family farm training network work day, okay, that we had. That's the farmer program that I've been connected with for the last couple of years. And Alex's sister Georgia was the main person who helped me get this farm. If you look in the center of this bed, that green and rocky center right there, that's actually a vent. So if Haleakala were to be active, I would probably want to be one of the first to know. And we have several of those vents on this property. This baby plant down here, that's actually a different kind of potato. Those are the roasting potatoes. And like I said, it was kind of an experiment to see if the potatoes would overgrow the other stuff that keeps trying to come up. There's nothing like weeding the weeded bed, if that makes sense. All of that stuff was stuff that we pulled up, and when it came back there. This is a jackfruit that's a little slower in progress to grow, and that's okay. It could be its location. Like I said, there's a lot of roots back in this area that we still have to take up. So we have several dozens of coconut trees, both royal and green. So I believe this little guy here is a green coconut, and that one over there is royal. They're several feet apart from each other. If I back down, all this cane grass you see belongs to the property next door. And what we do is we cut along the property line so that it doesn't hang over so badly. If you see these dark spots, those are the tunnels for the pig burrows. That's where that's their traveling network. Their highways and byways. All of these guys that you see coming up, every time you hear me referring to weeding, okay, those are the African tulips. They are really aggressive. Even some of the trees that we cut down, new babies were growing out of the bark. There was no root attached. That was pretty nuts. And some of it is actually in that pile over there. So we try to keep it where it's going to get burned out and dried. That's another baby ice cream bean, and yes, that one's thirsty as well. We have another baby ice cream bean. Yeah, he's thirsty, but he looks like a little better than the other guys. So we're on Vetiver Lane. Okay, commonly you'll hear us refer to that side of it as second lane. And that's because when we initially built the campsite, that area became first lane. Come on, boy. Come on, show us the way. Come on. Take us for a walk. Come on. Okay, just so for context. Yeah, there we go. He's excited when Mom comes up on a weekday. Okay, so this is another Chinese gunpowder tree. That's Sister, if you ever hear us refer to it in a video. And that whole area behind Sister was densely populated with cane grass and looked identical. Cover this. It's like the sun is not out, but it's really bright, and everything looks white in the video right now. So looking back, you can see I'm only directly behind that driveway. And like we promised you in the beginning, we were going to separate this into ahupua'a, or pie slices, that go from, and you can't see the mountains, but they're back there, okay, that go from the mountain back this way over towards the ocean, which is in that direction. Okay, so in each pie slice, since there's just over 6 acres, there's 6 pie slices, and we're going to go from street to the back of the property 6 times, or come back out to the street 6 times. And by the time it's over, we'll have a whole new forest. All the invasives will be gone, and it will be replaced with natives and food. We don't necessarily care to have a monocropping system. We would prefer to have a natural system, and in the long run, that's a lot less work. It's just a lot of work now because the property was so densely populated with invasives. So in this area, I don't even know if you can see it. Everything looks white to me. The sun is really strong right now. Okay, I guess we'll have to end our video here because the sun's getting too strong. Okay, aloha.